Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome back to Whatdoin. Guess what doing today? It's not the tattoo. Thought about it, but we're meeting a bunch of friends down here. We're in Centralia, Washington. We're gonna be going to Centralia Glass Works, and we're gonna blow some glass today. Come on in and let's see how it goes. Welcome to Whatdoin. We're Deb and Aaron, two retirees originally from Washington State who love to travel the country, make new friends, have new adventures, scuba dive, hike, cook, and just about anything outdoors. Come along for the ride. You never know what kind of crazy adventures we're going to get mixed up in, and you never know what doing. When you first walk into the gallery, you're met with a sea of glass. You'll find everything from a cabinet with samples of art created with cremated remains to bowls, vases, and even birds. After looking through the shop and a safety briefing, it's time to go hands-on and start making your own art. The first part is to choose what you want to make and what colors you want to use. For my first piece, I chose a heart with black and red. The guys in the shop are entertaining as well as informative. They walk you through each step and explain exactly what's going on. The pros add the coloring to the clear glass, and then it's your turn in the glory hole.
If we end up using our wrist to turn, one, it's got a stopping point, so that pause is going to have your glass fall off center every time. If you watch his hands, how he's turning with his fingers, that's what you guys want to do. It's way more consistent.
The first step in mixing the colors into the glass is using tweezers and pulling the molten glass and wrapping it back into itself.
Now that this glass is solid, you gotta heat it up again. So right now, he's separating that color so it kind of pokes out from that design. Where he's cutting it, he's also condensing that color, so it's going to give you denser shades of it. I'm going to put clear glass on top of this, and then we'll start making it look like a heart instead of a weird little chewed up piece of bubble gum. Alright, so we got some clear glass over our design. I'm going to shape this into somewhat of a light bulb before we start smushing it, and you're going to smush it with our next tool called the taglio. So this gets shaped into somewhat of a round shape, rounding out that front half of our heart, pushing it off the rod. And the reason why I don't have you do this part is because this right here, the angles that I need to achieve, I haven't figured out how to block your arm from the heat. And this is much, much hotter than that small shape we were working on. We need a little constriction with that light bulb shape, and once we smush this on that graphite pad right there, it'll look somewhat like a ping pong paddle, which is one butt crack away from being a heart.
This is a lot harder than it looks when you watch the pros doing it. Knowing just how hard to push or how to work each side to keep your paddle uniform takes a lot of practice, but these guys are great instructors.
Pressing right into the centermost portion of this heart. And the reason why I don't have you guys do this is because this blade is waxed. I'm sure you noticed that by the little sheen on it. And if you happen to slip, it gets wedged in between your arm and the blade, and it is really uncomfortable. Alright, so we got that butt crack in there, but it did squish it a little bit wide, so you gotta press on it one more time. Flatten that crack.
Just little flattening out the butt crack. And this will do it to you too.
You guys all got so animated when we started talking about butt cracks.
Right? They did, didn't they? Because they're boys. They're two.
Alright, a very gentle press at the topmost portion, off of there. I'm gonna get this a little bit taller. And then I'm gonna give it a little tap, and it should just come right off of there.
Want me to catch it when it does?
Yeah. I'd love to see it
Once. When your heart is finished, they use a dollop of glass to make a stand-up base.
There we go.
Look at that. You have a heart finally. What do you think?
Like the Tin Man. I chose the same black and red theme for my second piece and decided to make a whiskey glass. Watching these guys work the color into the glass was nothing short of magical. It's back to the glory hole, and this project is where the actual glass blowing comes into play. It takes a lot of force to blow the air all the way through the pipe and into the molten glass at the end, especially when your best friends are standing around cracking jokes about it. Once your glass is hollowed out, it's time to use the other tools, and pretty soon you really start to see it take shape.
Perfect. So go ahead and come off for just a second. Let it blow up a little bit. Now go ahead and go on at very gentle pressure. A little bit harder. And a little bit harder still. That nice flat bottom, so go ahead and come off there. Perfect.
Once Cade's ready, he's coming over with that punty. He's giving it a quick shake, and then coming right at the bottom of the piece. That gets stuck on as on center as I can get it. We can adjust it if need be by rolling our blades on top of his rod. Looks good, so I'm gonna grab the lip, give it a tap.
The last step is to make the top of the glass and make the rim and make sure everything is lined up and concentric. Then it's into the annealer with the heart. You know me, I don't have an artistic bone in my body, but actually I think the finished products turned out pretty darn well. So here's my takeaway from today's adventure. Life is about making good friends, having adventures, learning new things, and always living life to the fullest. Just get out there and try new things. Tomorrows are always ready for exploration, and you just never know what doing.